and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. In a short while from now, we will connect with our experts and you get a chance to connect live with us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of your screen. Apart from that, onto the Buy Now, Sell Now lens, we're going to be focusing on the leaders from the financial space today. That is Bajaj Finance as well as HDFC Bank, and what will be a we'll try to decode that. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, the markets continue to be under pressure, but the silver lining is that the broader markets are still holding on to themselves.
Absolutely. A very good morning to you, Shrishti. And Amnias, today you did not say that I'm wearing the color that is matching the markets today. I'm wearing blue. Markets are still in the red, isn't it, today? Yeah. But looking at the markets, yes, they are pretty much weak in trade, just like the handover that we've received from the global peers, as well as the GIFT Nifty was indicating a weakish start coming in for the benchmark indices. And as you can see it on your screen, 100 points down to coming in for the Nifty. At one point in time, we did slip below the 19,400 mark for the first time since September. From there on, we tried to actually recover and at least gain past that 19,400 mark for the Nifty. Talking about Nifty Bank, that's playing a spoil sport. It is under pressure in today's trading session. 9/10% down to coming in for the Nifty Bank. Broader markets, on the other hand, if you look at the way how the mid-cap index as well as the small-cap index is actually trading today, they are moving in tandem with the benchmark. The small-cap index only seeing mild losses of about 0.3%, but the mid-cap index is down by 0.8% as we speak. Talking about the advanced decline ratio, very much tilted in the favor of the declines as of now. List of gainers are Adani Enterprise, Nestle, HDFC Bank, Eicher Motors as well as BPCL. While on the flip side, on the losing end, you have Axis Bank, IndusInd Bank, Maruti Suzuki, Bajaj Finance as well as Mahindra. And yes, the reason why HDFC Bank is actually outperforming its peers today, in a short time from now, we'll be joined by Harsh to actually decode that for us. But talking about the sectoral indices, then the only sectoral indices that's in the positive territory is the FMCG index, while on the losing end is the realty index down about 1%, pharma 1% down, metal also down about 1% or so. That's the way how the markets are looking like at this point in time. Yes, Nifty Bank is pretty much weak, Shrishti, as we speak, but you have a certain pockets that are shining bright.
Yes, certain pockets definitely shining bright. And just yesterday, Cheryl, we saw a good move coming in on Bajaj Finance just ahead of its operational updates kicking in for Q2. Apart from that, talking about today, HDFC Bank is trying to lend support for gaining around 1% in trade. So let's try and find out that how the operational numbers have been for both of these companies, and because they are sector leaders, what are the cues that other companies from the NBFC and banking space can get. And for this, we are being joined by two of our researchers in the studio, Vamakshi for Bajaj Finance, and we have Harsh to decode what's happening with HDFC Bank. But Vamakshi, take it away. Tell us how the operational updates for Bajaj Finance were.
Well, overall, it does look like a very strong update that has come in from Bajaj Finance for the second quarter. When we look at the AUM growth, that stood at around 33% on a year-on-year basis, and the AUM has now risen to 2.9 lakh odd crores. Now, definitely this AUM growth that the company has reported come in much higher than the company's stated guidance of anywhere between 29 to 31%. And in fact, Morgan Stanley also believes that for FY24, the AUM growth could be anywhere between 33 to 35%. When we look at the customer addition, the company's customer franchise has risen to around 76.56 million, an uptick of almost 22% is what they have reported. And both the customer addition on a year-on-year as well as sequential basis has been quite robust. But when we look at new loans that have, they stand at around 8.53 million for the quarter. They've risen by 26% on a year-on-year basis, but we're witnessing a fall of almost 14% on a sequential basis as far as the new loans are concerned. Deposits growth has also been strong, standing at around 40% for the on a year-on-year basis, and the liquidity also remains quite strong for this counter. For Jefferies as well as Morgan Stanley, both of these brokerage houses appear to be quite positive as far as Bajaj Finance is concerned. In fact, Jeffries, Bajaj Finance is one of the top picks in the NBFC space. And given the strong update that has come in from the counter, Jeffries has maintained a buy rating with a target price of 8,830 rupees per share, while Morgan Stanley has not only maintained its overweight stance but also gone ahead and hiked the target price on Bajaj Finance to 10,300 rupees per share. So all in all, a good update that has come in from Bajaj Finance, and brokerages are also appearing to be quite bullish on this counter, and that is the reason you should keep an eye out for this counter.
All right, so brokerage is also giving a thumbs up for Bajaj Finance. No doubt, dismiss the faith how stock is performing today. But let's not forget that tomorrow you have the all-crucial board meet as well, where they are going to talk about fundraising, and we'll see where and how much will they raise. But let's talk about HDFC Bank then, and what a great spot. Actually, a sports person is HDFC Bank in today's trading session. Harsh, it is the one that's bucking all overall market trend. It is seen an uptick above 1.5%. I think 2% off the day's lowest point is what HDFC Bank is trading at currently. Why is that?
Well, yes, and contributing a significant chunk with regard to the winners in trade today, Cheryl, in terms of points, 3/4 of the total cumulative points in green are contributed by HDFC Bank, which is quite solid. But let's take a look at the numbers. Now, one key concern prior to these numbers was with regard to the high base and the growth that HDFC Bank would continue to clock, and whether it could continue to clock that kind of growth, and that's exactly what's played out this time around. 5.5% growth on the advances front on that very high base, bringing the gross advances to 23.3 lakh crore. So very solid growth on that count as well. 1 lakh crore plus is the cumulative amount of advances added in this quarter alone. Even in terms of deposits, you're seeing good traction. 5.3% uptick sequentially, 18% year on year is on your screen. 21.73 lakh crore, around a 1.2 lakh crore added in terms of deposits. That's the second highest deposit base added by HDFC Bank after Q4 of last year, when it added 1.5 lakh crore in a single quarter. Also, in terms of what within advances is growing, very interesting here. We're seeing that their commercial and rural banking book is growing at 30% year over year. 10% sequential growth. This comprises of around 24 to 25% of HDFC Bank's combined book, and that continues, that machine, that particular segment continues to chug away very, very easily. The other piece that really stood out for me was with regard to corporate and wholesale banking. Corporate and wholesale banking has been a laggard over the last year or so. This quarter, it grew 6% sequentially. So you're seeing a comeback in terms of the wholesale book. So that's one key positive as well. In terms of CASA, 8% growth on a year-on-year basis, 1% sequentially, nothing major on that count. In fact, the CASA ratio has fallen below the 40% mark. 37.6% mark is where the CASA ratio is at. But overall, it seems that growth is proven in some form or shape in this quarter, and therefore you're seeing that buzz on HDFC Bank.
Okay, with this, we'll let you go both on that. Thank you so much, Mamakshi and Harsh, for joining us and helping us try and find out that how these operational updates were for both of these companies. But for today, if we have a look at HDFC Bank, like Sharon mentioned, that it is gaining around 1% in trade today. So let's try and find what our experts have their take on both of these counters. With this, let me welcome on board Ashish Maheshwari of Blue Ocean Strategic Advisors. Very good morning, Ashish, and thank you so much for your time to ET Now. What's your take on Bajaj Finance as well as HDFC Bank? How do you see the operational numbers, and HDFC Bank now trading near to that 1500 mark? Isn't that a screaming buy? Ashish, your take on Bajaj Finance as well as HDFC Bank?
Yes, good morning to you and viewers. As far as Bajaj Finance is concerned, all stock is already at 52-week high. If you see, stock has touched 52-week high today. So in Bajaj Finance, I don't need to do much value addition how this particular NBFC is performing. Even Jeffries and Morgan Stanley both have given quite ambitious target for Bajaj Finance. And this growth, whatever they have shown, 33% growth in AUM will continue, because all their verticals are just firing as such. If you see the kind of sales which is happening in Bajaj Auto, the two-wheelers, Bajaj Finance is major beneficiary, as well as we have seen very robust growth in FMCG products and mobile phones, etc., where they are dominant players. So, if you ask me, like I am assuming there will be around 50 crore borrowers in India, and they are having almost 8 crore borrowers now on board. So, very significant market share now Bajaj Finance is having, and this fundraise
Actually,
plan.
Ashish, let me just actually come back to you. We have Sebi chairperson who's addressing at an event. Let's hear her what exactly she's saying.
We should not be making regulations sitting in some ivory tower. So how are we to be in touch with the market? How do we know what is going on in the market? The only way to know is if the association and its responsible members come and tell us. And sometimes, let me tell you, this is done in a very interesting way. People have walked into my room even before they sit down, and I can ask them whether they would like tea or coffee. Madam, आपको मालूम नहीं आपके नाक के नीचे क्या चल रहा है? Okay, so and I welcome that. I love it. Even before I sat down and had tea, because he is so agitated, because he is one of the good guys, and he is so agitated कि सेबी के नाक के नीचे क्या चल रहा है, आपको दिख नहीं रहा है, आप कुछ कर नहीं रहे हैं. And that is what we need. We need the good guys to come to talk to us, to tell us what are the malpractices in the market, and to help us to craft solutions so that we address that, so that the good guys win. We want a million investment advisors. Let me tell you, it's as much, I would say not as much. I think it is clearly our failure that we have such a small set of investment advisors. Okay? And every new whole-time member who comes into Sebi, some of my colleagues here will vouch for it, every new member who comes in takes a look at it and says, why is this number so small? Why isn't it larger? And 2 weeks later, after they go through all the details, they're like, we can't have 1 lakh of these kind of guys, right? So that's the problem, okay? We can't have 10 lakhs of these kind of guys, but we definitely need 10 lakh of those kind of guys. We need the good guys to win, and for that, the association has to come forward and tell us what's happening, because by the time we otherwise get to know, a couple of people have already committed suicide in Indore. That's the reality. The second area is, and this is something which I must share with you that, you know, I've been where you are, right? Somebody read out my resume, right? I've been a broker, I've been an investment advisor, I've been all of those things. When people make claims, what is fact and what is fake? Now, investment advisors have come and told us, look, you're saying don't make a claim. How am I supposed to sell anything to my client, right? Even a cream says you will be fairer in 3 weeks if you use my cream. They're making a claim. You're not allowing me to make a claim. How am I supposed to sell my service to anybody? Now, we took that feedback on board, saying, sahi baat hai, right? Because whatever you don't allow above the table will go under the table. Whatever you don't allow in the sunlight will go into the darkness, right? So therefore, you would have seen our consultation paper on performance validation agencies. Now, this is a completely radical concept to say that there will be an institutional mechanism. You come there, you validate your claims, and then you can make that claim. Now, what is the modality? How is it to be done? Naturally, a lot of thinking will have to go into it. But what I'm saying is, when there is a genuine need in the market, it is our objective to address that need because we want to get to that 1 million. But we have to be very careful about fact versus fake, and we all know, right? I don't need to tell you, you know, algo players will claim 300% return per annum. Use my algo. I mean, you really think Sebi is so dumb? No, first of all, on the face of it. And secondly, when we ask them, so, you know, what is the basis of this? They've done a retrofit of the data. And on the basis of that, They say 300% return per annum. I mean, what do you say, Dhirendra? I mean, हमको इतना बेवकूफ समझ रखा है. मतलब your modeling data and your test data has to be different. No, if you retrofit on the same data, of course you will get 100% return. You pick up stocks which have delivered 300% return and you plot an algo for those, of course you will get it, na? Of course you will get it. ये तो आप hindsight के मेरा घोड़ा हमेशा जीतता है. Of course, क्योंकि आपने you tested it against the घोड़ा who has already जीतोed in the last 15 races. उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है? कोई भी बना देगा आपको. Why 300%, 500% return बना देगा. अब हमको बेवकूफ समझ के रखा है. So the question is कि how do we deal with this? Because at the end of the day, unfortunately, you know, as was being said in that wonderful presentation on risk profiling, the investors often work against their own interest. And these get-rich-quick schemes, and you know, you can make, I mean, all of those influencer videos. It's amazing, you know, the thumbtacks of those videos are all about how my student has made, you know, 15 crores in the last 1 year, and how yesterday my student made, you know, 5 lakhs, and you know, yesterday this happened and yesterday that happened. Fact versus fake. Okay. Y'all are all seasoned investment advisors. Any of the claims that you see on social media today, do you believe a single one of them? Anyone? And my test is simple. When people say, how do you test? I'm saying, I have a very simple test. You know, these platforms very often say, we are only a platform. We don't know what our people, you know, our community says on it. We don't know. We are just a platform. I ask them, will you recommend your platform to your mother-in-law? Will you tell your mother-in-law, you know, Maji, you can go to my platform. There are 50 really good guys there. Pick any of them and you will be in good financial state. Will you recommend to her? Obviously not. Maji kha jayenge unko. Right? Because the first time she makes an investment, she will lose it all. So the question is, this fact versus fake is a crucial thing, not just for the regulator. It's crucial for the investor. And this segregating the wheat from the chaff, the fact from the fake, we need your help. That is the reality. Because you know what's going on and you have the best idea of how we can address this issue. Investment advisor registrations for rent. आजकल खूब secondary market चल रहा है सुना. So मतलब पहले हम लोग बोलते थे कि हमारे stock market में you don't just trade shares, you know, you trade profit and loss, long-term capital gains. There are lots of things you trade. Okay. आजकल secondary trade in registrations is happening. What, you know, again, we are flummoxed. I have no other word to tell you. We are flummoxed. So we look to you. Tell us what to do. Because you are the good guys and those guys are the bad guys. So help us to address this issue. How do we do it? Circumvention of the law. Large number of complaints that we get. Oh, I gave my user ID and password to my advisor. Oh, he's supposed to ask me before trading. No, he just took my credentials and then, so this is all illegal PMS going on. Okay. Then of course there are those who, you know, have found ways to exceed the 150 number. They become authorized persons of brokers. They have terminals. फिर तो user ID password की भी जरूरत नहीं है. वो खुद सब चला रहे ना. Right? Correct, na?
And that is the Sebi chairperson talking about how one should be very clear about fact versus fake. Also, she's giving us a lot of real-life examples as well. But on that note, we'll actually slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we will start taking your queries. Also, continue the discussion on the lens on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get to answer for all of his stock-related queries. While just before slipping into the break, we were taking Ashish's view on HDFC Bank as well as Bajaj Finance. And let me continue with that then. Ashish, coming to you. Good morning. Your view on Bajaj Finance and HDFC Bank. I know I cut you midway.
Yes, Bajaj Finance, as I was sharing, if you see the data-wise, the stock is already at 52-week high. All brokerages have given thumbs up, and I have already given justification for same. And in my view, they will continue to do well. And once their fundraising of almost $1 billion, I think this announcement will come tomorrow. We are going to see more upside here. So any correction should be used as a buy opportunity in as far as Bajaj Finance is concerned. And for HDFC Bank, my view is, though numbers wise, you are not seeing any disappointment anywhere, but only the culprit is as FIs are in selling mode. So, and they are the majority shareholder in HDFC Bank, and we have seen almost now 9 weeks of selling in HDFC Bank. So, in my view, this will continue till the time FI selling, in fact, stops in this counter. So, I'll wait for HDFC Bank even at this price point. In my view, let FI selling get over, then surely we'll start looking at it.
Okay, so that's the fundamental take on both of these counters. Wait for any dip to enter Bajaj Finance, but for HDFC Bank, Ashish will wait for when the FI selling gets over, maybe a good time. But in the meanwhile, we are getting some brokerage notes on HDFC Bank as well, post the operational update, where CLSA has maintained a buy rating for a target of 2,025 rupees, while Jefferies also maintained its buy for a target of 2,030 rupees. So, Kunal, all these brokerages are targeting over 2,000 rupees for HDFC Bank at near to that 1,500 level. Isn't the level very attractive to like enter into positions, or you will also wait for some correction? As well as, what's your take on Bajaj Finance?
So I'll also agree that HDFC Bank, I think, is at a very lucrative kind of a level. The price is at 1,500, 1,530 odd mark, as also coinciding with a major support over the last couple of years for HDFC Bank. So I strongly believe that these are good levels for a long-term investor to start nibbling into the stock price. Quality name, we've seen that the stock has managed to stand the test of time over the last decade and more. So I would probably expect the same for HDFC Bank going forward. Even for Bajaj Finance, now the stock is, I think, was in touching distance of breaking past about the life high levels of 8,050 odd mark. It's corrected marginally, but I think this could still be a good opportunity to try and buy Bajaj Finance. It's been an outperforming stock in the last 2-3 months, specifically from the time the stock was at 7,000 or sub 7,000 levels, coincided with the bounce just above the 200 moving average. So the trend reversals have been quite strong, and the stock is looking quite attractive. So both of the charts, I would believe, warrant a good buy from a long-term play.
All right, so that's a view coming in from both of our experts on Bajaj Finance as well as on HDFC Bank. But let's kickstart taking your queries. And the first one coming your way, Ashish. This one is from Indu. And she's saying her favorite fundamental analyst is back on the show today. So she wants a query to be taken to you. She wants to know if you recommend any newly listed stocks in the drone or the EMS space. She already has Idea Forge in mind. Do you think, along with Idea Forge, other players are also looking attractive, or you have a different view on Idea Forge altogether?
Idea Forge is again a good company, if you ask me, like direct play to whatever the happening in drone. But the only concern is, as there's a stock where we are continuously witnessing a lot of profit taking, and the valuations are already quite rich. So we have seen, in fact, the valuation of other defense stocks also coming down. So defense and drone related stocks are also witnessing some selling for last few months. So my suggestion will be wait for a fresh entry in Idea Forge Tech. At least for another 100 rupees more downside, I'm expecting this stock, and after that, gradually you can start accumulating this.
Okay, moving on. And Kunal, the next query is from the options space. The query is from Nalini Kadam from Pune, holding 205 call option of Power Grid at a price of 4 rupees 70 paisa. What should she do at this point in time? Is that a hold or exit?
Well, I would suggest to hold on to the stock. I'm not sure the current market price for the call option of 205, but I think in terms of spot levels, what you can do is keep 195 as a closing stop loss for this trade, because it looks like the stock is still into a range. But I think below that 195 mark, there could be a chance that the correction may drift the stock a bit lower by say another points on the downside. That could deteriorate the premium for the call options quite significantly. So as I said, not sure of the current market price, but keep 195 as a closing stop loss for the option trade which you have.
All right, the next one is coming from Pratisha. She's writing to us from Muscat. Sorry, apologies, Pratisha. We've not been able to take your queries off late. But she's holding HEG stocks. She's saying that she can see some sort of a rally that is emerging in HEG Kunal. She wants to know what sort of a price can she expect in this current rally that HEG is witnessing. She's saying she can hold on for the next 3 months.
So I think you should hold on to the stock as of now. Now the stock has started to get into the thicker zone of outperformance as compared to what it had shown over the last couple of months, where the stock was consolidating. So potentially on the breakout, historically we've seen that whenever the stock gets into a breakout, there's a rally of at least another 200 to 50 points on a stock like HEG. If you have a higher term time horizon, stock may tend to reward much stronger in that sense. But if you're looking at it from a 3-month kind of a time frame, I would believe potentially another 250 points on the upside is what you can expect.
Okay, moving on to the next query then, and this one is also for you, Kunal. This query is from Tushar from Delhi. He wants to know from you, is this a good time to enter EIH with a medium-term investment horizon?
Well, you can look to buy EIH. I would probably specifically look out for Lemon Tree also. I think that's a better chart. I think we've discussed Lemon Tree a few weeks back when the stock was at 110-12 levels. It started to show signs of recovery. Chalet Hotels is something which I think, if I'm not wrong, has managed to make a fresh swing high above 700 plus mark, 500 plus mark for itself. So even EIH looks attractive. The last 3 weeks of correction has made the risk reward to enter the stock at current levels also quite interesting. So you can look to buy the stock.
All right, this one is coming from Satya. Satya is also writing to us from Muscat. Ashish, he's holding a Rishabh instrument from IPO times. He wants to know whether he can hold on to this counter for the long term, or should he should he go ahead and book profits? Firstly, do you track Rishabh instruments by any chance, and what should his strategy be with regards to this company?
Yes, I think the Rishabh instrument, if you see, is moving in quite narrow range from 480 to like 500 kind of range for quite some time. And if we see from the lows, slightly again the stock is gaining momentum, because again the fundamentals of the companies is pretty good, and we have seen in the last quarter also numbers were in line with expectations. So you can continue to remain invested and wait for 520, 525 levels to exit.
Okay, that's the take on Rishabh Instruments. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now, show where we get you answers for all your stock related queries. And today onto the show we have Kunal Bothra as well as Ashish Maheshwari with us to guide you better. But Kunal, coming to you for the next query. This query is from one of your fans named Nagraj, and he says that he's having 100 shares of Hinduja Global at a price of 1210 rupees, sitting at a loss in this one. But should he move out of this particular counter and rather invest the money in HCL Technologies or KPIT Tech?
I think it would be a brilliant decision to shift from Hinduja Global to HCL Tech as well as or KPIT Tech. I strongly believe that many of these larger cap IT names or quality tier to mid cap IT names, I think they've come back towards a good retracement support for themselves. And if you specifically have a longer term time horizon, I think making money over here could probably turn out to be a better strategy, because many of these larger cap IT names have actually shown signs of breakout resilience with respect to their previous major lows, where many of these stocks had hit in September 2022. So I think in that aspect, these stocks, they look fairly attractive to me on the long-term charts. But then the catch over there is that you have to be a long-term investor, and there could be a possible, say in the next 2 or 3 months, in case if the news flow across the US markets deteriorate, there could be a knee-jerk impact into many of these IT names. But I think overall, these stocks can make a very strong comeback, possibly in the next couple of quarters.
All right, moving on then. This one is coming in from Sai Babu, B. Sai Babu. He's writing to us from Chennai. And this one is for you. This one's for you, Ashish, given the fact that we just had a stellar listing coming in from JSW Infra yesterday. After 13 years, you had a company from the JSW stable actually list on the bourses. Sai Babu wants to know whether it makes sense for him to go ahead and invest in this counter right now for a period of 2 to 3 years. Today as well, stellar gains coming for JSW Infra. Do you think now's the time to venture in, catch the stock pretty early to see good gains in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yes, I agree. This will be a good stock to buy. In fact, I have strongly recommended to apply an IPO also. And post listing also, this stock will be under quite demand. Because if we see the valuation of Adani ports, etc., in the same sector, they are much, much higher than JSW Infra. And still, the stock is available at 35,000 crore market cap. And the way QIP participation was there in JSW Infra, I think this stock for next 3 years has potential to double from here. So gradually we should start accumulating the JSW Infra.
Kunal, the next query is on Tata Investments. A viewer named Jay Krishnan has bought 91 shares at a price of 2,700 rupees. The stock has been on the roll, so wants to know any short-term target on Tata Investments?
Well, I think on a short-term basis, you can probably expect maybe another couple of days of follow-through for the stock price. Now, what matters is that how the stock breaks past or retests the previous highs of 3,500, 520 for Tata Investment. My sense is that the indicators are showing signs of a bit overbought, zones for Tata Investment. So you have to be a bit mindful of that. I would recommend to start booking out profits above that 3,400 levels or very close to that kind of a zone.
All right, moving on, then the next query that I have is coming from Subrata Mukherjee, and he is mentioning the fact that, Kunal, he's also a big fan of yours, and he wants to know about Bajaj Finserv. We spoke about finance earlier on in the show in details, but he wants to know about Bajaj Finserv. 1,535 rupees is the buy price. What should he do with this one in the short to medium term?
Thank you so much for that. For Bajaj Finserv, apparently this stock has underperformed Bajaj Finance. Even if you do a like-to-like comparison. So, for example, where Bajaj Finance is on the verge of hitting a life high for itself, Bajaj Finserv's life high was around 1930 mark, and the stock is at 1530-35 levels, which means there is an underperformance of almost 20% for Bajaj Finserv. But then again, I think quality franchise, quality stock for Bajaj Finserv, I think at current levels you can. I would recommend to hold on to the stock, and if you have a longer term time horizon, I would believe that possibly Bajaj Finserv can also come back to that 1900 plus levels in the next couple of quarters. So I would recommend a hold.
Okay, Ashish, the next query is from Mayank Saraf from Delhi, and he wants a take on Oriental Rail. I'm not sure whether you tracked this one or not, but he says that he's holding 10,000 shares at a price of 85 rupees and wants a take for the next 1 to 2 years.
Okay, Oriental Rail, again, this is a stock which has given, if you see, very good return from 33, 34 rupees. The stock went almost to 125 rupees and still at 5 crore market cap company. And in my view, if we see numbers, they have come into profit from previous quarter loss. So some turnaround story is there. So just wait for some time, in my view, in Oriental Rail.
All right. On that note, actually, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Lots more stock to discuss on the other side. Don't go anywhere.